Before I start, I will need access to share my screen. Yeah, I do have that. Okay, good. Difficult to look at the audience. I'll manage. Thank you. Timer, you can start now. No, not really, no, 1 minute. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm not getting glimpse of any audience here, but that's how the sharing is going to work. You can start now. On the front page of Indian Parliament, there is this famous shloka from our Upanishad, Maha Upanishad. Ayam nija paro veti ganana laguchetasam. A person with narrow mind will always differentiate between people. Udara charitanam tu vasudeva kutumbakam. An open-minded person will always feel vasudeva kutumbakam. We're all one family under this open sky. I felt the same in Toastmasters. Last year, 2020, after lockdown and after everything went online, you don't need a passport, you don't need a visa, you don't need any other thing, just the Zoom login. I joined Pakistan, Toastmasters, Bahrain, Qatar, different countries, and everywhere I felt the same feeling of being welcome, the same feeling to learn, the urge to learn, urge to teach, urge to share the experience. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear guests. I'm sure everybody must have heard about the butterfly effect. My second DDM project happens to be more like a butterfly effect. It all started in May 2021. I got a call from an area director from the region Pune or Mumbai. This person called me up and asked me whether I can help him charter this one club, Toastmaster for Mumbai entrepreneurs. By the time I already chartered one club, and that was a 10 DCP within just 3 months, Toastmaster for Hyderabad entrepreneurs. So I instantly said, okay, without any other intention at that point of time. Then I did the basic research. What were the failure? Because they were trying to charter the club from August 2020 till the time that they talked to me. First thing we did was to change the name to make the club sound inclusive, Toastmasters for Entrepreneurs. Then I created a workshop that would help everyone to know the essence of public speaking for all the non-Toastmasters, for entrepreneurs, and also existing Toastmasters from different clubs to see how an effective mentoring works, how we can do better in this club. Started this workshop of 5 weeks every Tuesday from 8 to 10 p.m. IST Standard Time. Completely free. We got registration up to 125, can you imagine? But then we selected only non-Toastmasters for this specific program for first phase. That was 42 members in the program. With that, I took it up as a challenge for my DTM project. I can say A. I will tell you why I say A here. There were 10 different mentors for this program. I selected from different districts. District 41, District 98, and then District 121, and also have people from Singapore who helped here. My project guide was DTM Smita. And the project goals for this specific project was to charter the club by June 30, 2021. Complete the icebreaker speeches for at least 10 members and seed the club in the proper direction of entrepreneur club councils that we have in India. The initial deadline is set up for August 31 for completing all these tasks. Now, from 42 people, there was a decline in the members who were attending. I know in world, people don't respect something that is free, but that's fine with me. End of day, we were able to complete 30 icebreakers in and we have to do in different sessions for this session of icebreakers. And that 20 people have joined the club. What did it involve from my side was to coordinate with all the speech coordinators on every week to talk to them how they were doing, how they were managing, and if they needed any support in documentation, or if they needed any support in managing the team, if they were facing any issues for specific members. Yes, there was some specific issues from certain members. They always, the human species are like that. You have to face the issues. Then I used to connect with each and every member, trust me, to know whether there were any challenges in understanding the program, if they see the essence of public speaking here, and if they see how Toastmaster can actually help them. While these people suffered all these months to charter a club, I was able to charter with all this program by just 45 days. June 15, we were able to submit the documentation, and by June 17, for some reason, Toastmaster World Headquarters were very fast in processing the documentation, and the club was chartered here. So now we finish all the required icebreaker that are set up. But then I talked about butterfly effect, isn't it? Then comes a second thing. Now my mentor wanted me to do more. At the same time, one of my nephew comes to me and says, Mama, do you think God is a concept? Do you think God is something that we just imagine and there's nothing like that? That made me think about what's happening to the youth of this century. Same time, with the expectations of my mentor, I started this program, Youth Leadership Sanskriti. Completely online again. The frequency was weekly. Duration was 5 weeks and conducted every Saturday, 4 to 6 p.m. IST. Now it was limited to kids between 10 to 15. What did we teach? Was public speaking plus basics of Sanatan Dharma or any religion, I would say. Let them understand why we have this religion in one place, what to expect in that. My mentor remains same for the project guide, details with her. There were two members who helped me here, Kalpana from Hyderabad, Niyamat from Nagpur. Goals was to help the kid understand the basics of prayers and knowledge of Sanatan Dharma, and again, public speaking basics, and let them stand up for themselves and at least complete icebreaker for people who are always in the class. July 19th was the completion. You should look at this smile on their face. Every time I look at the smile on this kid face, it always makes me proud. Out of all those 8 people who joined us in the program, there were 4 people who completed their icebreaker because they were always studious and they attended each and every session. Irrespective of anything else, it gave me an immense satisfaction that I was able to help the future of the country. But then I would call it an inception. Why would call it? I would call it inception because it's just a beginning. I wasn't happy with what I achieved. Then I started one program in my own office, a communication workshop for my colleagues. Already completed 2 weeks, and people are really enjoying those stable topics, are those how to work prepare their speeches, or how to align this learning to their corporate culture of writing emails, presentation, etc. Now, what does that have to do with Vasudeva Kutumbakam? This reminds me of Ruth Perham's poem. We're all a family under one sky. We are people, we are animals, we are flowers, we are birds in flight. We're all family under one sky. Let us not limit what we can do within our programs. Let us not limit what we can do for each and every project just to Toastmasters or anything. Let's try to spread our wings to every walk of life. I was able to contribute to Toastmasters. I was able to contribute to youth. I was able to contribute to my professional track. So why not you? Toastmaster of the day. Don't you think we are all one family? Vasudeva Kutumbikam.
Raghu, amen, which means I agree. Our next speaker is Abhijit Joshi, the organizer, founder of this club, and our district club growth director. Today he's going to speak about my secret to leadership. His speech time is 5 to 7 minutes. Please give your attention to Abhijit, my secret to leadership.
I did not listen to my mentor. My mentor said, be a mentor for a club. But I decided to be a coach for a club. I became a coach for Cisco Speaks. The meeting started at 12:10. 4 or 5 of us gathered. We started looking at, who is going to do what roles? There was no speaker. We just did table topics. What did I got myself into? I have to turn this club around. My mentor said, be a mentor, not a coach. But I stopped listening to my mind. I decided to follow 3 things. The first thing, my mentor taught me servant leadership. He said, my job is to serve the members. I decided to become the VP of the club. No one wanted to give the speeches in the club. So I volunteered every week for 4 weeks. The one thing I've realized is when you give quality speeches, it inspires the members in the club. I decided to follow that. Once I did that, instead of having just one speech, we started having 2 speeches after third or the 4th week. Something was happening. Servant leadership helped. The second thing, mentorship. I believe in a very strong mentorship program. I came from a club, NSpeak, where I had mentored over 15 members in the club, and the club transformed. I decided to follow the same principle. Sometimes it's hard to mentor the old members, but it's very easy to mentor the new members who come into the club. I decided to mentor each and every member who comes. In first month, we got 3 members. One was my friend's wife. I made sure that she follows the pathway because Toastmasters is all pathways. And once she started giving speeches, it started inspiring the old members. We continued this. In 3 months, we had 17 members. And all new members were so excited to give speeches. It was transforming the club. I could feel that if they work on the speech, if I help them to work on their speech, when they are giving their icebreaker, the quality of the icebreaker is so good that it makes the difference. So I reviewed their scripts, gave them feedback, asked them to send me a video so that I can give them some more feedback. So when they are going on the stage, they are ready. Mentorship made the difference. The third thing, acceptance. There were a couple of members whom I could not change. And it was very tough because there is always a resistance to change. I had back and forth with the president of the club because I was asking him that, oh, we need to have an open house so that we can invite all the members of the company. But he was not understanding how to do the PR, or he was not able to guide the VP PR for that. There was another member in the club. She never wanted to give speeches. Once I had that acceptance that, oh, I'm not going to fight them. It's okay. Not everyone is going to listen, or everyone has different views. That helped me to just calm down and let it go, let the flow go, and let things happen the way they are going to happen. But after 6 months, the club had around 19 members. The club was already on 7 goals, 7 DCP goals. And at this moment, the club has 27 members and a thriving leadership. What things I got from it? I got 3 big things which changed me. The first thing I learned was the art of influencing. When you are being a coach, you have to influence every meeting, every moment. And that helped me sharpen my influencing skills. Without those, I would not be here. The second thing, the confidence. I have nothing to lose. When I was able to build that club from the scratch, it boosted me. It helped me to start 3 new clubs from concept to reality. And finally, the most important thing, contentment. It made me so happy. It makes me so happy to see the thriving members, the members giving their speeches, which inspire other people. If I had not been the coach of Cisco Speaks, my leadership skills would not be the same. I'm proud to say that my secret weapon to becoming a leader was becoming a coach at Cisco Speaks. What are you waiting for, Toastmasters?
Thank you, Abhijit. Spoken like a true leader. Everybody, coach a club. I'm doing one in 57. Could use all the help I can get. With our speakers complete, we now move to what many consider the fun part of Toastmasters, table topics. Table topics is impromptu speaking for our guests who are new to Toastmasters. You may participate as a guest. You speak for 1 to 2 minutes on the question that the table topics master gives you. Feel free to raise your hand or put into chat to Maritesh that you would like to participate. Maritesh, what questions have you for us today?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Toastmaster Dennis, fellow Toastmaster, and my dear guest. The purpose of the table topic is where guests and members will have the opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking. I will introduce a topic and call on speakers who will be given 2 minutes to speak on the subject. Today's theme is historical. The first question is why it is important to learn history at school. Then it's Dawson, it's your time. Can you please unmute your microphone?
It's important for all of you to learn history so you understand the hell that I went through to get here today. In my day, we had to have diesel video cassette recordings. You would have to pull a strap on the machine. It smelled to high heaven. It made a lot of noise, and it played very grainy videos of people like Laurel and Hardy and Abbott and Costello. It was always somebody and somebody else, and we liked it. We liked it that way. Nowadays, you have to have all of your blue DVDs and all of your fancy jazz music in the background and all the young people dancing to the discos with all of the lights flashing everywhere. Well, it just makes me tired. And that's why you have to learn history, because if you knew history, you'd know that everything was better when I was young and everything today is terrible, just awful. And that is my story for you. I have to draw this out, however. The timer hasn't shown me a green card. Now that I have a green card, this speech is history.
Yeah, it was a great answer. Thank you, Dennis. My next question is what is more important, world history or your own nation history? I request Elmar to please unmute your microphone. What
Did I
is
hear you just now?
button?
Did you call my name?
Yeah.
She is timer, Marita. She might not be able
Oh,
to do it.
okay,
I
sorry.
wasn't paying attention. I was writing timer. Sorry.
Okay. I request Panal to please
How about Anne Marie?
Anne Marie. Okay, Anne Marie, please unmute your microphone.
I'm taking minutes, also doing an evaluation. Can I skip this, please?
Okay, Anne Marie, we'll let you off the hook.
Yeah. Yeah, Niyarika, would you like to speak?
Yeah.
Okay. Your
So
question is
knowing,
what is the more important, world history or your own nation's history?
according to me, knowing yourself is always the first thing you have to do before you get to know others. So once you know yourself, maybe you have chances of better understanding others. So I wouldn't say that nation history is better or more important than world history, but it's, in school we have stages, class 1, class 2, class 3. So primarily you should know your nation history, that is equivalent to knowing yourself. And maybe as you succeed in the rank of classes, it's always good to know world history so that you get things from world history into your own nation and help your own nation. So according to me, you can't categorize that nation history is more important or world history is more important. It's just a sequence of things, how it should go. But always, knowledge is the most important thing. So if you know world history, it's very good. But knowing your own nation history is primary thing. You should at least know that. So that is my answer for your question.
Yeah, thank you, Niyarika. Really, it is a good answer. My next question is who is your nation's greatest hero? Sarika, can you please unmute your microphone? Your question is who is your nation's greatest hero? Over to you.
For me, it's hard to pick a hero. But I would, if I were to pick one from United States, it would be George Washington. The reason I picked George Washington was because he was the first president. And when I read history, I read history from both points of view. It was a very difficult time. But in that difficult era, he managed to bring the two sides together, keep the country together. And he even became the president, though he didn't want to become the president. And he had a good reign, and he did many things that was very, to this day, it's a thing that many of the current presidents cannot do. So for me, that, given the times, given the historical period, given the era, he was an amazing president for me. And so I always, George Washington is one of my favorites. Thank you. Back to you, Marikesh.
Yeah, welcome, Sarika. My next question is, if you could travel back in time, which period would you visit? Spurgeon, can you please unmute your microphone? Your question is, if you could travel back in time, which period would you visit?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. I dreamt about that question. Here's why. Life can be divided into 3 time frames. 1, past, present, and future. At my age, I am convinced the most important of them is now. I cannot go back. I am not sure about tomorrow. But I believe what I do with this moment right here and now in my life will determine my future. My goal is never to go back, simply because I cannot. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a secret. Each time I look back at that road that I travel, I often see pitfalls that I never want to get into again. So my goal in life
Green.
is to get all behind me and to look forward to achieve the goals that I have in my heart. Back to you, Mr. Tabletop Master.
Yeah, thank you, Spurgeon. My next question is, are you proud of your country's history? Just for us, can you please unmute your microphone? Your question is, are you proud of your country's history?
Thank you, Table Topic Master, for the question. Yes, I'm definitely proud of my country's history. Taiwan is a mixed culture country. We had colonized by like the European and also by Japan, and later on we are back to the Chinese government, and those mixture makes Taiwan a perfect place to be adopt and willing to accept different countries' culture and their willingness to mix, to share with us any kind of experience they had. So for your question, I'm really proud of my country's culture and my country's history due to we are in a period of chaos, but after that we came to becoming a nation, or maybe we struggle to becoming a nation, but it comes to the end that we are better to accept different cultures experience and different voice from every others. Thank you.
Thank you, Punas. My next question is,
I think I'm going to stop you there, Maritesh.
okay.
It's 11:18, so we should probably move on to our next part of the meeting, which is the general evaluation, and I will call on Carol Ashton, our general evaluator. Thank you, Maritesh, for wonderful questions.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guest. For this first evaluation, I would like to bring my first evaluator. My first evaluator be evaluating Niraj's speech. Please welcome Anne-Marie.
Hi. Yes, Niraj, you shared a very, very strong message to start with, and it resonated with me. How to be a better leader. And that really sowed interest. It's a very powerful way to start. Well done. And the first impressions of any speech is what keeps it alive. You then went on to show visual images, a smile, and that reinforced your message. What I love about your speech is the structure. It's very well structured. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you just told them. Very nice way to summarize, and I love that. Repetition. One of your strengths is your dicta. You're very relaxed and very clear in your delivery, and that's a strength. Your pace is exceptional for someone who has a second language. There are many English speakers who cannot speak with the pace that you have. Well done. One word at a time in your video presentation, you talked about praise, don't argue, ask questions. Those images were very, very detailed. Even though a very exceptional speech, there were a couple of areas that detracted. And one of them, I would like to see greater use of body language. Animate yourself, use a screen. I suggest one step further, one step back, play with some other use of the screen, although the gestures were very powerful. So I'd like to see some forward and back movements. And you seem to be looking up rather than at me. Positioning, therefore, I'd ask you to look at. The visual presentation was excellent. There was a white block on the screen, which I couldn't understand. It didn't seem to serve a purpose. So if you're using visual aids, you need to just tighten up on that. And there's a lot of background that I was looking at your bed. I was looking at other things that I shouldn't have been looking at. So try to use a backdrop just to keep the listener focused. I would like to congratulate you on a very good speech, exceptional leadership journey. And overall, I felt empowered with your advice of praise, don't argue, and ask questions. Well done. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Our next evaluator tonight will be Kevin. Kevin will be talking about Raghu's speech. Please welcome Kevin.
Raghu, you made charting a club sound so easy. As area director right now, I can totally argue the otherwise. This is your speech for DTM. And because of that, I will be quite critical. And in fact, I think this will be my first criticism-centric evaluation. Raghu, your opening has such a strong phrase. Toastmaster is one family. That could come out so much stronger if the opening was not attenuated by all of the setup, all of the checkup, and all of those things. It could have been right straight to the point and give us a, oh. Moving forward, I hope you can add more of story and emotion into your speech. For example, when you were talking about charting a club, gathering new members, having a time limit, there are so many opportunities to add some stories into it. For example, when you're trying to communicate with all of these new members, trying to get them to give icebreakers, not all of them are going to be successful. Some of them are going to be, like what Abhijit said, reluctant to change. And in that case, let bygone be bygone. You can put that out. And for the ones that are willing to change, you can express how much you were able to push that through. Give these kind of concrete examples so that we can resonate better with you. And better yet, these concrete examples will allow you to bring out more of the emotions. Were you frustrated when you couldn't get some of the new members? Were you elated when you were able to gather these 30 icebreaker speeches? Because that is an amazing feat. And I want to feel that. I want to feel you deliver that emotion to us. At the end, I want to say, when you switch back the presentation to your own view, that was a great choice because I saw how great your hand gestures were. Let's not limit, let's spread our wings. That amazing hand gesture, I'm sure you were doing that all throughout the speech, but the presentation made it hard to focus on your gestures. I was looking at the slides all the time. It was a great ending. It was powerful. I would love to see you trying to adjust the presentation and your own video such that you bring out the best of both. So all in all, I can see you are a very strong speaker. I just want to see more story, more emotions, more influence. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Kevin. Our last evaluator is Jamal. Jamal will be evaluating Abhijit's speech. Please welcome Jamal.
Thank you, General Evaluator. This was an impromptu speech that Abhijit gave, and I just love the way he put it together in the last minute. The decision that Abhijit took to become a club coach was the best decision that he took. I am from Cisco Speaks, and I'm so proud that he turned around this club from struggling to President's Distinguished. I rejoined Toastmasters 3 months ago because I was inspired by Abhijit and the quality of the speeches and my transformation that just happened from his mentorship. And had I not met him at Cisco Speaks, I wouldn't have been here at Toastmasters. Abhijit shared with me, if you work hard, we will take you to the next level you can't imagine. He is a true servant leader and a distinguished Toastmaster. I felt your speech was effective because you shared a true inspirational story and experienced the hard work he put and the influence he had on everyone in that club. I liked that he split the sections into 3 points each. He mentioned what's the secret of a leader, servant leadership, mentorship, and acceptance. And what did he gain from it? Influence, confidence, and contentment. Your speech can be made even more effective if you shared some failures and techniques that you used to be optimistic and stay grounded. The best thing about your speech was I learned the secret to successful leadership because I am in the process of starting a new club and turning a club around. And Abhijit is a great example to follow. To recap, you can take your speech to the next level by sharing with us some more stories. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to this true story, which I am part of, and you shared with me what it means to be a great leader, and you have inspired me to overcome obstacles and rise above. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. Next, I would love to hear from our grammarian, Sarika.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Today, for the grammarian's report, I heard two uses of the word bygone. Thank you, Kevin. Let bygones be bygones. Yes, you made my day. Thank you. For some of the colorful usages from Neeraj, though towards the end you had some really good usages like navigate with navigate, affect others or some. Okay, getting more humble as you navigate forward. One of the things I realized about your speech was in the beginning, I believe you were nervous, so you didn't complete some of your sentences. Like you said, show any person, you show something, show that to something, or what better any person, what better any person what, something you have to finish the sentence, or to praise as much as you want. It should be just praise as much you want. But as you got on to your speech, it became all of those fluencies went away. And for Raghu, your speech had some colorful words like steer the club, butterfly effect. One of the things that when you started the speech, you said open sun. Is the open sky or the golden sun? Under the golden sun or the open sky? You know? The open sun didn't make sense. Neil, of course, had many eloquent words. I lost track of it. Only thing I wrote is goal in my heart. And one of the other colorful usage was Kevin said, elated with 30 icebreaker speech. Yes, it would be indeed an level of elation. Thank you. And back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Sarika. Next, I'd love to hear from our counter, Niharika.
Thank you, Carol. I did not see many I usages, but during Neeraj's speech, there were repetition. Like when he was saying that's not, he repeated it twice. That's not, that's not, that's not. So that was one thing I caught. And I could not catch any more as. So that's all from my side.
Thank you. The last member of our tag team is Elma. Elma was the timer tonight. I'd love to hear from Elma. Please welcome Elma.
Thank you, Madam GE. Good night, everyone. Unfortunately, I was not able to time the first speaker because I was knocked out of the room. My sister knocked me out of the room, and by the time I got back in, he was almost at the end. I didn't realize that he was a speaker. I'm so sorry about that. I was able to record the time for the second and third speakers. The second speaker, he spoke for Raghu, he spoke for 10 minutes, 13 seconds. The third speaker, Abhijit, he spoke for 6 minutes, 44 seconds. The table topic speakers, Dennis spoke for a minute, 14 seconds. Niharika spoke for a minute, 11 seconds. Sarika spoke for 59 seconds, 59.89 seconds, almost, I guess you can round that off to a minute. Spurgeon spoke for a minute, 15 seconds, and Horace spoke for, he spoke for a minute, 11 seconds. Our evaluation times are as follows. Anne-Marie, 2 minutes, 48 seconds. Kevin, 3 minutes, 16 seconds. And Jamal, 2 minutes, 29 seconds. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you, Madam Timer. Tonight, I would love to start with probably the best thing I've heard tonight. I'd like to congratulate Dennis for bringing some comedy into the table topics. That was nice. You brought the club up. Sometimes when you come to a club, you might have had a rough day and you turn on and it's quiet. It's low. I would love to see the pre-meeting talk a little more jovial, a little more exciting and talking and trying to keep everybody's spirits up. I think I might have heard some crickets. I'm not quite too sure, but the pre-meeting talk was pretty quiet tonight, which is unusual for our group because we are quite talkative. We've tried something new. It's the meeting introductions by meeting people who are showing up here on time. Margaret, our president, led through that introductions and she asked 3 things: name, place, and who you would like to meet. A lot of people did those 3 items. A lot of people did those 3 items and added probably maybe 10 or 15 more words. We're trying to be a little more succinct, because if we do have 20 or 30 people, trying to cut down that introduction and giving everybody that chance to talk, because the more somebody else is talking, the less somebody else. So we're going to keep trying that and keep working on that and listening to what the question is. Margaret will be trying again that next week. Come early. If you're speaking, if you're an evaluator, if you have rules, please come early. Do the mic check, the video check. Ask the host if you can share the screen. Remember, once you talk, the first utterance, the timer should be started. We're all excited to hear your speech, and all of a sudden it's like, can you hear me? It wasn't tonight. Or sometimes, can you allow me to screen share? We're all excited for your speech. And then we hear that. So come early. Let's do all that pre-meeting stuff and get everybody prepared. This is an advanced club. And I'm trying to push you guys to that next level. So please use your time wisely, because if you're asking about that, it's taken away from your time. The first thing that we're really working on this month is interruptions. As we spoke last week, whoever has the virtual lecture has control of the meeting until I pass it on to somebody else. So therefore, the interruptions should only be done by the person who's has a virtual lecture. Next week, we will have a host who will be muting people who don't have that control of the virtual lecture. We're trying to make sure the person who is speaking, whether you're the speaker, the table topics master, the Toastmaster, that you're not interrupted. Introductions. That worked out great. Denise, great job with the history. Our theme was history, and she had great PowerPoint presentation talking about a little bit of history. That was great. I must say there is some fuzz on your background on your mic, so you might want to try and clear that up prior to the meeting. Maritesh, table topics master. I like it that you would talk about the intro to what everything is. That was good. I can really understand you quite clearly. I can hear the improvement that you have been working on. Really nicely done. Nice word of the day, Sarika. Bygone. I saw it in the chat. You gave great examples, and I thought more people could use it, especially when we're doing historical talk, but maybe put that word throughout the meeting so we can hear little snippets of it in the chat. That might work very well. The timer. Good visual. I could see your green, yellow, and red very nicely. If somebody in the middle of the speech, or if you are talking and you want to pin the timer, and if you don't know how, please ask prior to the meeting. That's all the pre-meeting setup. If you would prefer an audible timer, then please ask the timer to do an audible cue. And that would only be done by the timer, not anybody else in the meeting. It's an audible cue. evaluations. Anne-Marie, you picked up things that I didn't pick up. So thank you for that. You had great suggestions about using the screen. You talked about the strength, about the pace, and that was very clear. But sometimes I didn't know if it was like a you should, but I felt, because it's a personal thing that you as the evaluator picked up. So just remind everybody that it's something that you're giving. So use the I word a little more. I believe. Kevin, good examples about adding stories. I felt, I believe, trying as an evaluator, even as a general evaluator, I believe, I felt, I wish. Jamal, adding personal stories, giving the examples, and maybe sometimes what's wrong. The one thing I did miss is I didn't hear any objectives of what the speakers were talking about. I missed that. So because I haven't done all the paths, it was hard to find out what the objectives were. So maybe we can add that in prior to the speaker speaks and hear from the evaluator, if we could add that in. Overall, I thought it was a great meeting. I love the comical thing. I think, Dennis, you just brightened my day by hearing that. I know sometimes we do have little bits of humor now and then, but it's nice to add that in. Very well done. I'm going to pass it back to our Toastmaster tonight, and that is Denise. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you, Carol, so much. I jumped in for Elma because I know she can't see the chat when she's doing the timer cards, so that Spurgeon would know the time. San Marino sits upon a mountain top, and after their post-fascist position, the new government moved quickly to reaffirm its neutrality. Regrettably, it didn't help because they were bombed during World War II anyway, and Germany briefly occupied the country before the end of the war. Hopefully, if you visit Europe, you'll get to see San Marino, a beautiful, beautiful little country in the mountains near Italy. With that, I'd like to turn the meeting back over to our presiding officer, Margaret, in case she has anything she wishes to add or wrap up.
I am thrilled to be able to share some things with you. I was so excited when we talked about history. It's not often in Toastmasters that we talk about history, so I was thrilled when we did this. We have several things happening. We have an evaluation contest and a Tall Tales contest coming up. We're looking forward to people from our club competing so that we can have a club contest. And on August 20th, we're going to start the meeting at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So the rest of you will just have to figure that out because the workshop we're doing is going to be a little bit longer. Now, the best part, we as Intercontinental Toastmasters want to have an open house. District 101 gives district dollars for us to have an open house. And it's our chance to shine and our chance to invite all our friends that are Toastmasters and have completed level 2 at least to come and see if they think Intercontinental Toastmasters is a fit for them. In the meantime, we have to get our game up so that we're working as best as we can. We're striving for excellence. So what I'm asking is if anybody needs a high performance leadership project for one of their paths, please contact Carol Ashton or myself, and we will talk to you about what's going to happen there. And please do it within the next week so we can get it started. We'd like to have the open house in August. I am thrilled, Mr. Dawson, you made my day. Thank you. We have some very fun people in our group. And I have to agree that we need to smile more. When I'm looking at the screen, there's not that many smiles. And it's really lovely to see Sarika's smile. It just brightens up the whole screen. So thank you everyone for taking time to join us tonight. And I am looking forward to hearing from somebody that wants to do a high performance leadership for the open house. And I do believe we are officially finished unless Carol Ashton has an announcement.
Wonderful. Thank you, Margaret. Next week, we have our Toastmaster, Anne Marie. Now, to sign up for the speeches and the roles, go to Free Toast Host. Kevin and I will be staying later, and Alma, working with everybody who needs some help in Free Toast Host after the meeting, will be sent into a breakout room. If you have any difficulties, please come to the room. Try and sign up for a speech about every 3 or 4 weeks. We have 29 people in the club. And if we don't have a speech, or if we need a backup speech, put your name at the very bottom of Free Toast Host. There's 3 spots for a backup speech, just like what happened tonight. Somebody was unable to make it, and then we could pull from there. If you have any questions about Free Toast Host, please join us in the breakout room. And I'm happy to see what Anne Marie will be doing next week as our first-time Toastmaster. And the theme Anne Marie will be choosing and letting everybody know.
Yes, a mystery. One thing I think is good is that if anybody has a burning desire to do a role, if we can get it on record while we're still here, because we're international, we're all over the place. So please, at the end of the meetings, I'd like to see, anybody want to be a grammarian? Anybody want to do this? That way the Toastmaster is already ahead of the game. So please, like Abhijit, I think you used to have that practice at the end of the meeting. Do you want to do X, Y, and Z? I think we should continue that.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it back to our, yes, Abhijit.
Let me call upon Dennis Dawson. Dennis, I have questions for you. Dennis, how many speakers would you like for your workshop?
Oh, when is this workshop?
August 20 at 7 p.m.
And this is a 1 hour, 15-minute meeting?
No, 1 hour, 45 minutes. We extended for,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then definitely 2 speakers, 6 evaluators.
Perfect. I will get that. Anyone wants to get feedback from Dennis? I need 2 advanced speakers. Who can be? Okay, Raghu and Jamal. Perfect. I'll get you 6 evaluators, Dennis.
Okay.
Perfect, perfect. We are excited. We are going to have 2 contests. One is Tall Tales and another one is evaluation. Back to you, Madam President. I don't have anything else.
Is there anyone that would like to go into the breakout room for Free Toast Host training? Please let us know. If everybody's got it down and you've signed up for all your roles till Christmas, I think we got it covered. I don't see anybody